Senate will come to order. I'd ask everyone present to please rise and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have with us today Pastor Steve Dambra from the Reformed Church of Beacon in Beacon, New York, to deliver our opening prayer. Pastor?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Would you please bow your heads? Dear wise and loving God, thank you. Thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for the many and abundant blessings that you bestow upon us. And thank you for life itself, for the health that we enjoy, for the prosperity that we enjoy. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful works and friendship. Thank you for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. And thank you for loving us, even when we might love you. In Scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you've established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for this legislative body, for this Senate. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of all of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. And we pray for personal peace in their lives and joy in their tasks. I pray for this agenda that is set before them today. Please give an assurance of what you would want them to do and what would benefit those who live and work in our great state. It is in your most blessed name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Reading of the Journal.
In Senate, Sunday, May 8th, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Saturday, May 7th, was read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the Journal stands as read. Presentations of petitions, messages from the Assembly, messages from the Governor, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator DeFrancisco.
Senate print number 387 by Senator Marcelino, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
So ordered.
Also, I wish to call up Senator Murphy's bill, print number 6577, recall from the Assembly, which is now at the desk.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar number 590 by Senator Murphy, Senate Print 6577, enact amend the tax law.
I move to reconsider the vote by which the bill was passed.
Call the roll on reconsideration.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young, ayes 35.
The bill is restored to its place on the third reading calendar.
I now offer the following amendments.
Amendments are received, and the bill retains its place on the third reading calendar.
Now, Mr. President, would you take up the non-controversial reading of the calendar?
Secretary will read.
Calendar number 106 by Senator Gallivan, Senate Print 398, enact amend the social services law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 36.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 127 by Senator Robach, Senate Print 1965B, enact amend the highway law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 36.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 141 by Senator Croce, Senate Print 4520B, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 39, nays 1. Senator Perkins recorded in the negative.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 328 by Senator Martin, Senate Print 6020A, enact authorize.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 40. Relation to calendar 328, those recorded in the negative are Senators Bonasek. Ayes 39, nays 1.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 414 by Senator Carlucci, Senate Print 1972, enact amend the State Administrative Procedure Act.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 40.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 415 by Senator Murphy, Senate Print 4033, enact amend the State Administrative Procedure Act.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 37, nays 3. Senators Kruger, Perkins, and Squadron recorded in the negative.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 416 by Senator Murphy, Senate Print 4328A, enact amend the State Administrative Procedure Act.
Read the last section.
Section 5, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 416, those recorded in the negative are Senators Perkins and Squadron. Ayes 43, nays 2.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 453 by Senator Gallivan, Senate Print 403, enact amend the Criminal Procedure Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 453, those recorded in negative are Senators DeLon, Kruger, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 45, nays 5.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 459 by Senator Valesky, Senate Print 641, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect on the 60th day.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 50.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 463 by Senator Golden, Senate Print 1451A, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect on the 180th day.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 463, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, DeFrancisco, Kruger, Murphy, and Perkins. Ayes 45, nays 5.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 481 by Senator Golden, Senate Print 3281, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, the statute take effect on the 1st of November.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young.
We're on 490, right, Chris? Still on 481.
Relation to calendar 481, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Gianaris, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Perkins, Rivera, Serrano, and Squadron. Ayes 41, nays 9.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 490 by Senator Young, Senate Print 3671, enact amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 120th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 490, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 43, nays 7.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 492 by Senator Goldman, Senate Print 4155A, enact amend the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 492, those recorded in the negative are Senators Delan, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Senator Squadron in the affirmative. Ayes 44, nays 6.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 494 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 4515, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 6, this act should take effect on the 90th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 494, those recorded in the negative are Senators Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, and Senator Delan. Ayes 45, nays 5.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 496 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 4655, enact amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect on the 1st of November.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 48, nays 2. Senators Kruger and Perkins recorded in the negative.
Bill is passed.
Also, Senator Squadron in the negative. Ayes 47, nays 3. Calendar number 499 by Senator Young, Senate Print 5164, enactment of criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 499, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 43, nays 7.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 503 by Senator Marchone, Senate Print 6327, enactment of criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 503, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 42, nays 8.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 504 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 60.
The bill will be laid aside for the day.
Calendar number 505 by Senator Latimer, Senate Print 6578, enactment of criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 505, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, and Rivera. Ayes 44, nays 6.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 506 by Senator Flanagan, Senate Print 6638, enactment of the criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, the statute take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 506, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 42, nays 8.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 510 by Senator Seward, Senate Print 7029, enactment of criminal procedure law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect on the 90th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 510, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Delan, Kruger, Montgomery, Perkins, Rivera, and Squadron. Ayes 43, nays 7.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 535 by Senator Golden, Senate Print 6603B, enactment of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 50.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 560 by Senator Ravello, Senate Print 5387B, enactment of the Education Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect on the 60th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. In relation to calendar 560, those recorded in the negative are Senators Comrie, Gianaris, Kruger, Rivera, Serrano, Squadron, and Stewart Cousins. Also, Senator Montgomery. Ayes 42, nays 8.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 561 by Senator Marcelino, Senate Print 6445, enacting in relation to legalizing, validating, and ratifying.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 50.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 592 by Senator Parker, Senate Print 526, enactment of the Public Service Law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 50.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 600 by Senator O'Mara, Senate Print 6649, enactment of Vehicle and Traffic Law.
Bill be laid aside.
Calendar number 606 by Senator Golden, Senate Print 6623, enactment of General Business Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect on the 90th day.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 49, nays 1. Senator DeFrancisco recorded in the negative.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 610 by Senator Ort, Senate Print 6916B, enactment of the Mental Hygiene Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young. Ayes 50.
Bill is passed.
Calendar number 615 by Senator Lanza, Senate Print 7181, enactment Chapter 704 of the laws of 1991.
Bill be Bill will be laid aside for the day. Senator DeFrancisco, that completes the non-controversial reading of the calendar. Secretary will ring the bell. Secretary will read.
Calendar number 600 by Senator O'Mara, Senate Print 6649, enactment of vehicle and traffic law.
Senator Kruger. Very good. Will the sponsor yield for an explanation?
Streets in the state. It adopts a safe passing distance of 3 feet when passing and overtaking a bicycle being operated on a roadway. 26 states in the U.S. currently have this standard for bike safety passage. With an increasing number of bicyclists on our road and our efforts to encourage the use of bicyclists, not only for transportation but also for recreation, we desire to improve the safety for bicycling on our streets, and that's the reason for this legislation being introduced and the purpose of it.
Senator Kruger.
The sponsor would please yield.
Will the sponsor yield for a question?
Yes.
Sponsor
you.
will yield. Senator Kruger.
Is the sponsor aware that we already have a law in place about safe passage between cars and bicycles?
Yes, I am, and this bill modifies that existing legislation by changing what is currently defined as a safe distance to a distance of not less than 3 feet until safely cleared of the bicycle.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor would continue to yield.
Will you continue to yield for a question?
Yes.
Senator Kruger.
How would we be measuring 3 feet between a vehicle and a bicycle? Under this law, would it be from the bicycle handles to the car body? Would it be the mirror on the driver's side to the bicycle handles? Could we get a definition of how we would be using 3 feet as a measurement?
Senator O'Mara.
From the left edge of the bicyclist to the further rightmost portion of the car, whether it's the edge of the car, the vehicle, the side view mirror, or whether it's the handlebar on the bicycle or the elbow of the bicyclist, would be the measured distance.
Through you, Mr. President, if the sponsor would continue to yield.
Will the sponsor continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Kruger.
So it seems that a standard in law would need a little more specification than however they choose to measure, whether it's the elbow or the handlebar or the mirror or the car. Could I get a little better clarification of what would be used as the measuring point for legal purposes?
Senator O'Mara.
Well, it's not specifically defined in this legislation, but it's certainly more clearly defined than just saying a safe distance, which could be open to the interpretation of the operator of the vehicle to be 6 inches and try to squeeze by as tightly as they can because maybe they're annoyed by the bicycle being in the road. Not less than 3 feet is far more specific than what's in current law and designed to give a safe passing distance between the vehicle and that car. I think a common understanding would be from the leftmost portion of the bicyclist or the bicycle and the rightmost portion of the vehicle.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor would continue to yield.
Will the sponsor continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Kruger.
Thank you. So, again, we don't have a measuring stick with us, but based on the sponsor's answer, could I assume he would accept the bicycle handle would add approximately a foot one direction and the mirror sticking out from the driver's side of the car,
I can't hear you.
let's say also a foot, so it's 2 feet additional, so you'd need 3 feet under this law, plus assuming the foot between the mirror in the car and a foot between the handlebar and the biker, so really 5 feet between the driver of the vehicle and the driver of the bike. Is that a fair calculation?
Senator?
I frankly don't understand your explanation.
I'll try again, Mr. President, through you.
Will the sponsor continue to yield?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Senator
you. I'm
Krueger?
going to rephrase my question, try to make it clearer. So you're on a bike, you have a handlebar going each direction. I'm trying to calculate how you measure the 3 feet for purposes of this law. So since the sponsor has answered from a handlebar to a mirror of a vehicle, I'm trying to roughly estimate you could have approximately a foot of handlebar between the center of the bike and the edge of the bike, and you could have a foot between the edge of the mirror and the passenger in the car. So I'm assuming a total of 5 feet would apply in this law, 3 feet of safe space defined, plus the foot for the driver's mirror and a foot for the handlebar. Is that a correct guesstimate on a total distance of 5 feet between the driver of the vehicle and the driver of the bike?
I honestly, Senator, don't know the distances of what's potentially the width of a mirror off the side of a vehicle or the breadth of handlebars. I assume it could be either more or less than that, depending on the vehicle.
Through you, Mr. President, I'm going to take the leap that that's a reasonable guesstimate. There's a foot of each vehicle that would apply. So,
Is the senator on the bill now?
well, I know I have a further set of questions.
Will the senator
Thank you.
continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Krueger?
Thank you. But my questions will work on the assumption of needing 5 feet of space between the driver of the vehicle and the driver of the bike. Is the sponsor familiar with the width of crosstown streets in Manhattan?
I am.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor would
Will
continue
the
to
sponsor
yield.
continue to yield?
Yes.
Thank you.
Senator Krueger?
So I represent a decent portion of Manhattan on the east side and in Midtown. So most of our streets in Manhattan have parking on each side, and then many of them just one lane for driving vehicles in between the 2 parking lanes. Sometimes they have a marked bike lane, but it's not protected. It's just sort of arrows on the roadway along with bike drawings. But that is quite common in Manhattan for the crosstown streets. One driving lane with bike options on it. Does the sponsor believe that there's 5 feet of space that could be held as safe space between the biker, his handlebar, the driver's side mirror, and the vehicle themselves as they attempt to follow this law in a crosstown street in Manhattan?
Senator O'Mara?
I would say, based on my experience, in some cases yes, and in some cases no. I would point out that a bicycle has every much of right-of-way to the lane of travel as a vehicle is. I would ask, Senator, are you advocating that vehicles squeeze by with as minimal amount of distance as they can from a bicycle operator?
Senator, through the chair, if you might. Senator Krueger?
So if I could just get the sponsor to separate out the answer he gave me and then ask his question of me again, I'd be happy to answer his question. So I got lost between his answer and his new question.
Senator, will you restate the question, please?
Yes. A bicycle has a right-of-way to that lane of travel, as a car does. And are you advocating then that in narrower circumstances than adequate for the 5 feet that you were talking about, that the vehicle operator be able to squeeze by that bicycle as close as he thinks he can do it with.
Senator Krueger.
I think, Mr. President, that while this bill has much validity in most areas of the state of New York, that proposing this as a law in the city of New York could result in saying that vehicles may not pass a biker in a crosstown street, which would radically change both bike and other vehicle traffic patterns in Manhattan, if not the entire city of New York, and that is a serious question a broader discussion is worthy of before a bill were to pass. So in answer to his question, is this a bill that the city of New York has taken a position on?
I am not aware of the city of New York having taken a position on this.
Through you, Mr. President, if the sponsor will continue to
Will the
yield.
sponsor continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Krueger.
Has the NYPD, which often has opinions about bike laws in New York City, taken a position on this law?
Not
Senator
to my
O'Mara.
knowledge.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor would continue to yield.
Senator Mara.
Yes.
Has the New York City Council, our legislative body for the City of New York, taken a position on this law?
Senator O'Mara.
Not to my knowledge. I've not heard directly from either of those organizations.
Through you, Mr. President, if the sponsor would continue to yield.
Continue to yield. Sponsor
do.
will yield.
Would the sponsor consider amending his bill for it to be local option?
I'm open to discussion of this down the road as this bill is introduced in the Assembly at this point, awaiting action there. So I have not had direct discussions with the same as sponsor in the Assembly
Any other
at this point.
Senator Krueger. You have
If you
an
give me
additional
one
question?
moment. Yeah. Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor will continue to yield.
Sponsor yield.
Yes.
Sponsor yields.
I'm curious about how enforcement of this law would apply. Would there be a police observation required, and how would they know through visual observation that the 3-foot rule had been violated?
Senator.
Well, that would be up to the evidence presented to the court on the validity of that. I know, as a matter of fact, that police officers are able to reasonably estimate the speed of a vehicle without the aid of radar as evidence to be utilized in courts. I see this as being no difference. 3 feet, a yardstick, is a pretty commonly interpreted distance, and not one that would be difficult to explain as someone testifying in court, whether it's a law enforcement officer or a layperson.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor would
Will
continue
the
to
sponsor
yield.
yield?
Yes.
Sponsor continues to yield. Senator Krueger.
So again, I don't know if it's unique to the City of New York, but I know in the City of New York, you have police officers who may be involved in bike, car incidents. You may have Department of Transportation people involved in observation of the rules of the road for bikes. You may have traffic enforcement officers involved. Would this law apply to all 3 of those professions having the authority to step in under this law?
My understanding would be any enforcement agency that's entitled to enforce the vehicle and traffic laws of the state of New York.
Through you, Mr. President, the sponsor will continue
Will the
to
sponsor
yield.
continue to yield?
Yes.
Senator Krueger.
Does the sponsor foresee needing special training of all these enforcement agents prior to this law going into effect?
I don't think there would be any necessary or required training other than in the normal course of their either their police academy training or ongoing training that they receive. This certainly could easily be incorporated in that if there's felt to be a need to determine what distance a yardstick is.
Through Mr. President, on the bill.
Senator Kruger on the bill.
At least in the city of New York, I think there's a recognition by people who live there, people who represent the people of city New York in elected office, that there is a evolving process when it comes to the growing use of bicycles on our crowded city streets. There is tension, and yet there's an important reason that we should be making improvements in the options for bicyclers throughout the state and the city. But the city of New York seems to have disproportionately unique issues because of the population density in our city and the, frankly, constant struggle between trying to provide safe pedestrian pathways, safe biking, and safe vehicle driving. And it is a struggle in many of our communities every day. We've worked hard to work with our city government to create, whenever possible, protected bike lanes, which are so valuable in helping to protect bikers from the vehicles and allows separation between bicycles and driving cars by having parking in between the two, which meets the responsibility of what this law hopes to do. But we have large numbers of streets that could never be set up, at least under the current model of life, to have protected bike lanes. And particularly for Manhattan, there are the avenues, which are much wider and offer some options for protected bike lanes, and there are cross streets which basically almost never offer opportunity for protected bike lanes, other than the occasional double direction crosstown streets. The problem I see with this law, if it were to be implemented in New York City, is literally the mathematical impossibility of having a 5-foot separation, because I'm counting the handlebar, thank you, of the bicycle, as well as the mirror on the side of the vehicle, and assuming you really need 5 feet. And simply on the cross streets of New York City today, many of them don't allow for 5 feet, which would mean, as the sponsor explained it, requiring vehicles to always stay behind bikes and never pass bikes, or vice versa, bikes stay behind vehicles and never pass the vehicle. I don't see that as realistic at the moment in the city of New York, and for any of us who have ever visited, lived in, or represented Manhattan Island, I think if you just visualize a typical street scene in Manhattan, you would understand that the goal of this may be very important and laudable, but the reality of attempting to implement a law like this at this point for the city of New York would be extremely problematic for bikers, pedestrians, and driving vehicles. And the scenarios, I do not believe, have been carefully thought through, with all due respect, by my upstate colleagues who are the sponsors of the bills. And I do think it is worthwhile to explore whether there should be local option, whether there should be a legislation for cities other than those larger than 1 million people, whether there should be public hearings at the local level. I'm speaking only for New York City because that is the town I know in detail. There may be parallel concerns in other cities throughout the state, and I think they might also wish to evaluate the impact on them. So while some people think that my voting against this bill today will imply some kind of opposition to the expansion of safe bike riding in my city, I would argue just the opposite, that one needs to think about the intended and unintended consequences from a bill such as this. And at this point in time, I would urge my colleagues and the sponsors to open themselves up to the idea of having an amendment or two, either allowing local option or exempting New York City from this bill, because I do think there are a large number of unique factors when deciding bike, road, vehicle, pedestrian planning for safe everyone legislation. And I do think it would be almost impossible for the enforcement agencies to actually apply successfully. So I would rather see us move a bill that could make sense for much of the state rather than a bill that would not make sense for the city and potentially cause problems on a statewide level. I vote no and urge my colleagues to rethink this proposal. Thank you, Mr. President.
Seeing no further member wishing to speak on the bill, Senator DeFrancisco,
Can we be at ease for 1 minute?
Senate will stand at ease. Secretary, ring the bell.
Controversial calendar.
Read the last section. Senator DeFrancisco,
On consent, can we please return this bill to the non-controversial calendar and then call the roll?
on consent, the bill will return to the third reading calendar.
Non-controversial.
Non-controversial calendar. Call the roll.
Section 2, this act should take effect immediately. Addabbo, Flanagan, Klein, Stewart, Cousins, Young.
Announce the result.
In relation to calendar 600, those
Have some order in the House. The Secretary will announce the result.
In relation to calendar 600, those recorded in the negative are Senators Avella, Bonasek, Felder, Golden, Hassel-Thompson, Kruger, Lanza, Montgomery, Perkins, Persaud, Rivera, Savino, and Squadron. Ayes 39, nays 13.
Bill is passed. Senator DeFrancisco.
Yes, I believe you have a hand up from the desk from the minority.
Handout is received. Will be filed in the journal.
Okay, is there any further business at the desk?
No further business before the desk.
That being the case, I move to adjourn until Tuesday, May 10th at 3 p.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Tuesday, May 10th at 3 p.m.